Widely regarded as one of the greatest and most influential rappers in history, Tupac, at the time of his death, has sold over 75 million records worldwide. However, he was only worth $200,000 and $5 million in debt. Nearly 30 years after his death, Pac is still one of the most loved and influential rappers ever. For me, growing up, Pac was my favorite rapper, hands down. No matter what I was going through in life, I could just put on a Pac song and feel like he related to whatever struggle I was in. Even nowadays, when things get rough or I'm feeling a little down, I'll just throw on Me Against the World and find some solace. But I'm Julian. Welcome to All Money Media. I post videos about the keys to building wealth to get you inspired. Please like the video and sub to the channel. Your support means everything. Thank you. So Tupac was born in New York in 1971, but he would move often throughout his childhood as his mother Afeni struggled financially and with addiction. In 1984, they relocated to Baltimore, Maryland, where Pac would go on to attend the Baltimore School for Arts in high school. There he would study poetry, jazz, and acting, and also meet and become lifelong friends with Jada Pinkett. Yes, that Jada Pinkett Smith. Moving once again, Tupac and his family would relocate to the Bay Area in 1988. Before his solo career could get started, Pac got his foot in the door as a roadie, backup dancer, and backup rapper to the hip-hop group Digital Underground in 1991. However, Pac would go on to sign a solo deal with Interscope Records and release his debut album, Tupacalypse Now, a few months later. Tupacalypse Now was the first rap album that I would listen to front to back. I'm not proud of this, but I actually stole the cassette tape out of a record store when I was young because I didn't have any money to buy the cassette. But when I tell you I listened to that cassette non-stop, you know the Biggie line in Juicy, I let my tape rock till my tape popped? That was me. And Tupacalypse Now would go on to be certified gold. One thing that became really apparent early on in Tupac's career is that he had an incredible work ethic and he was multi-talented. In 1992, he added actor to his resume, as Pac would have a scene-stealing role in his first film, Juice. Pac would really put his acting ability on full display in his role as Bishop, the film's magnetic and haunting antagonist. The film would go on to be an early 90s classic, with Pac receiving rave reviews for his performance and bringing in over $20 million at the box office. Getting back to the music, Pac would release his sophomore album in 1993. The album featured two of his most popular songs to this day, the party anthem I Get Around and the inspirational Keep Your Head Up. His second album would go on to be certified platinum, selling over 1 million copies. That same year, Pac starred alongside Janet Jackson in the John Singleton directed Poetic Justice. The film grossed over $27 million, and Pac was praised for his nuanced performance and acting range. 1994 would be a crazy year for Pac. First, he would release his only compilation album, Thug Life. That same year, he would star in his third major film, and my personal favorite, Above the Rim. In my opinion, this was Pac at his best, and the iconic role of Birdie. I probably watched that movie over 100 times growing up. However, back in November of 1993, Pac was arrested and charged with SA. But in November of 1994, while on trial fighting those charges, and a day before the verdict was due to be delivered, Pac was ambushed and shot 5 times while entering Quad Studios in New York. After surviving the infamous shooting, Pac checked himself out of the hospital for his own safety, only later to be found guilty on lesser charges in February of 1995. Pac would be sentenced from 18 months to 4.5 years in prison, with the bail set at $3 million. While in prison, Pac's magnum opus, Me Against the World, would be released in March 1995. The album would set the record for the highest week sales for a male rapper, with 240,000 records sold in the first week. It would go on to be certified platinum by July of that same year. And without a doubt, Me Against the World is my personal favorite Tupac album. But a really interesting thing for me, especially from this time period, was that Pac was one of the biggest rappers in the world, along with maybe Snoop Dogg, and starring in legit Hollywood-produced films, but didn't have access to $1 million to get himself out of prison. To me, this was an early sign that maybe Pac's finances weren't where they should have been. By this point, Pac had 2 platinum and 2 gold albums, with chart-topping hits like Keep Your Head Up, I Get Around, Dear Mama, So Many Tears, and Temptations. He also had a period appeared in 3 major Hollywood-produced films and should have easily had $1 million net worth at that time. But instead, Pac was unable to post bond, and his mother Afeni was broke and losing her house. On September 16, 1995, Suge Knight, the infamous CEO of Death Row Records, visited Pac in prison. Desperate to get released, Suge Knight and Tupac agreed on a 3-album, $3.5 million contract drawn up on a napkin. But this agreement was more than just a recording contract. Interscope Records, which was Death Row's parent company and Tupac's original label, deemed this contract to be Tupac's bail agreement, and Pac was released 8 days after signing this contract and flown immediately to LA. Pac's 4th album, All Eyes on Me, was rap's first double platinum album, releasing in February 1996. The double album actually met 2 of the 3 album requirement of Tupac's deal with Death Row. For Pac, the album was a triumphant return, placing him squarely at the top of the rap game, rapping defiantly over the best production of his career. All Eyes on Me hit #1, selling 566,000 copies first week, and was certified 5 times platinum by April. Singles How Do You Want It and Pac's biggest song to date, the one that he's probably most known for next to Dear Mama, California Love, hit #1 on the Billboard. 7 months after the release of All Eyes on Me, on September 7, 1996, Tupac was shot 4 times in Las Vegas and ended up dying from his injuries 6 days later. At the time of his death, Tupac's finances were a mess. It was later discovered that he had nothing to show for all of his tremendous success. He didn't own any real estate, no retirement accounts, no stocks or bonds. He didn't even own the mansion that he was living in Woodland Hills. What Pac did leave behind was a 5-figure insurance policy with his sister as a beneficiary, 2 cars, and 1 checking account with $105,000 in it. So the question is, how could Pac, who sold 60 million records in 1996 alone, not only be broke, but also in debt $4.9 million to Death Row Records? Pac's mother Afeni, who inherited his estate, asked that exact same question. How could one of the top-selling domestic artists still be in debt to their record label? Death Row claimed that Tupac's financial problems were due to his own lavish lifestyle and expensive spending habits, which the label advanced him millions of dollars to cover. The label claimed to have loaned Pac hundreds of thousands of dollars for cars and to rent homes for himself and his family. Not to mention his constant legal trouble that went all the way back to the start of his career. Even at the time of his death, Pac was out on bail, paying a criminal law firm to appeal his sentence. However, Afeni questioned the lack of advances that Tupac received and wanted a full accounting of his album sales and payouts. Death Row claims to have fronted $2 million for the cost of Machiavelli's Don Illuminati album, which Afeni forbid from being released until she received answers about the lack of royalty payments and true accounting of Tupac's income. Interscope Records interceded in the dispute, immediately paying Tupac's estate $3 million, agreeing to pay the estate $2 million in 1 year and increasing Pac's royalty from 12% to 18%, while also forgiving half of that $4.9 million debt. It's crazy that Pac sold millions upon millions of records to only end up broke, and it's a common story in the music industry. But for Pac's popularity throughout his career, the money he would have made from live performances, endorsements, film and TV appearances, as well as album sales, Tupac should have easily been in the 7 to 8 figure range. So unfortunately, that's the answer to the question in the title of this video. Tupac lived way above his means, made decisions that had legal repercussions, which required him to pay lawyers and legal fees, possibly sign unfavorable contracts, and didn't invest any of his income into appreciating assets. But Pac's story isn't relegated solely to the music industry. Between 55 and 63% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck right now. Even worse, 3 out of 4 Americans that make under $50,000 are living check to check. That means that if any one of them were to lose their job today, they would be unable to support themselves or their families and possibly be homeless in the near future. With that being said, how can we insulate ourselves from working our lives away, generating income for a large corporation, and ending up with nothing at the end of the day? Here are a few things we can do to ensure that we're reaping the benefits of our hard work and setting ourselves up to build generational wealth for our families. Live within your means. Build a budget to track your expenses. Set financial and savings goals. Build an emergency savings, which means that you need to set aside money to cover 3 to 6 months of your expenses. Pay down debt. It's hard to save money if all your money is going to pay credit cards and other bills. So as much as you can, pay down your debt and then build your savings and investment accounts. Pay yourself first. Set up an automatic transfer directly from your paycheck to your savings or retirement accounts, like a 401k or a Roth IRA. Invest as early as possible into stocks, bonds, mutual funds, so you can reap the rewards of compound interest. Invest in real estate, either by buying a primary residence or owning rental property, because there are some benefits that are very unique just to real estate. Appreciation, which is when the value of your property goes up over time. Principal pay down. When you pay your mortgage every month, the balance that you owe goes down and the equity goes up. Your equity increases from your principal pay down and appreciation. And the great thing is you can access that equity either through a refinance, a home equity line of credit, or selling that property. Passive income. If you have a rental property or you choose to rent out your primary residence, you'll receive rental income every month while the tenant is paying down your mortgage. And Pac continues to be as loved and popular as ever as his legend grows with every generation. According to Spotify, his channel has attracted 4 million monthly listeners. And his posthumous album, Tupac the Greatest Hits, has been streamed over 1 billion times. So thank you for checking out the video. Please like and sub to the channel. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think about Tupac. Also, what's your favorite Pac song? And if there's an interview or podcast you would like to see me do a video on, please drop a link in the comments. Make sure you follow me on TikTok to join the conversations over there. And don't forget to check out the next video. See you next time. Peace.